Well, after the Grand Dame of Potomac just got out of jail, another Real Housewives of Potomac star decided it was her turn to go to jail and a possible future prison sentence. So, what happened to cause all of this? Well, you see, it was a scheme that Wendy and Eddie set up to come to you with the bullshit. And these schemes by Wendy and her husband Eddie might be one of the most brain dead schemes of the year. Wendy has been charged with 16 total fraud charges and Eddie with 18 total fraud charges. 7 of those are felony charges for each. Something made these two try to come up with an insurance scheme. While the couple was away in Jamaica and came back, they told authorities that several designer bags and jewelry had been stolen while they were away. Another charge brought against the couple is making these false statements to an officer. So when the insurance investigators came knocking, they disbelieved the couple's story. There was a screen with damage laying on the roof, and in order to get into the house, one had to step on the toilet. So a quote from the incident report reads, "The toilet lid was down and had no debris on it. When sheriff's office personnel stepped onto the roof and back into the home, they tracked roof grit back inside." Another thing the couple did that was brain dead was try to make multiple different insurance claims at once. You cannot legally file with different insurance companies for the same incident. Eddie and Wendy both signed statements claiming $2,500 for the building and $450,000 in property, while also filing insurance on the jewelry. Eddie, the lawyer, by the way, gave false statements when trying to get insurance on the jewelry. He was asked whether any of the items on the list had been returned, which he denied. He was asked if he had other insurance, but failed to disclose to them that he was also making a claim with traveler's insurance. The kicker that should land these two highly educated individuals on America's Dumbest Criminals is that they listed approximately 80 stolen items, including jewelry, luxury goods, and clothing. The total reported value exceeded $200,000. Detectives later found evidence contradicting their claims. Over $20,000 of the allegedly stolen items had been returned to the stores where they were purchased, and also investigators later discovered images of them wearing, well, images of Wendy specifically, wearing the reported stolen jewelry after the supposed burglary date. Yes, Wendy went on social media at one point wearing some of the allegedly stolen jewelry after reporting them stolen. Just very dumb. And it's all very surprising coming from Miss 4 Degrees Wendy herself, who would let it be known in her early seasons how educated she was, and you better call her doctor. And then her husband has a history as in tax law, so you would think he would know a thing or two about fraud. So I don't know what it is about the Real Housewives stars that makes them commit crimes that send them to jail. Now, for me, as much as I like Karen, her DUI crime was much worse than this, especially since she had several different incidents. She could have killed someone with how drunk she was in the incident that sent her to jail for, well, less than 2 years. I'm actually way more judgmental about Karen's crime, but Wendy's crime here is it's a typical Real Housewives crime. I don't know if it is the need to keep up appearances for the shows that make these women greedy enough to do stupid shit like this, or keeping up with the other women on the show in general. But this is the Real Housewives of Potomac. we're talking about here. A group of women that doesn't even live in Potomac. And she's keeping up with the likes of Giselle and Ashley. That's already not hard because Ashley can barely stay above water with her ex-husband's money, and Giselle's fashion and interior designs might be the worst in any franchise. So just an odd thing for Wendy to do. Maybe they were too high on their supply of Happy Eddie marijuana when they concocted this brain dead plan.
Stay off the damn weed.
Certainly might explain the laziness that went into the scheme. And they do look high off their own supply in the mugshots. Q and I on this channel went back and watched and covered the early seasons of Potomac last year. I then watched up to season 8. Candace will always be my favorite from the show because she's the realist. She keeps it real. And I look forward to her being on The Traitors in the new year. Probably the person I'm looking forward to the most on that cast. She was on making an appearance on one of the local DC newses yesterday, promoting a musical she's in. And it happened to be the time when this news broke about Wendy. And Candace gave a very PR response to finding out this information herself live on the air.
We got to start Celebrity Dish with some breaking news just into our newsroom.
I'm sad. You know, it feels to me, we've just, gone through the Karen Huger of it all. Karen just came home. Karen paid her debt to society, but one might opine that, perhaps Karen was made an example of. And I'm heartbroken. Like I have chill. I'm shaking because we're just finding this. I can't imagine.
I will say I did always like Wendy though, for the most part. And with Karen in jail during this most recent season that's now airing, Wendy was one of the only reasons for me to try and check it out. I don't know what this means for Wendy's professor job and her appearances on MSNBC, but a little crime has never stopped people from appearing on the Real Housewives franchises. So if, and it is an if, Wendy doesn't do too much time, a season with jailbirds Karen and Wendy might save the show's ratings in the future. Also, ironically, as someone that covers Beyond the Gates on this show, Karen made an appearance on Beyond the Gates right before she was sent to jail. And now we're going to see a future appearance from Wendy and Giselle, now that Wendy might be going to jail or prison. So Giselle better stay out of trouble out there, because the track record of appearing on the Beyond the Gates to jail pipeline right now for these Real Housewives of Potomac stars, it's not looking so hot.